The last few miles out on the water have been a bit of a challenge. They've both done circles in the tide as they got flushed back out on the notorious tide in the Bristol Channel, but we can see them here finally clear and chasing down the final miles directly towards the finish line.
And if you were watching the screen just a moment ago, you'll have seen that funny track with Team AkzoNobel, but don't be confused. They are actually alongside Team Brunel at the moment. However, as you're saying, Conrad, right now there really is very little that Team Brunel can do to kind of throw this away. They've got breeze, they've got power, the boat's sailing along, and there was a bit of a question mark as to whether we'd get a drift off to the finish, something that the sailors were certainly prepared for. But even though we did have some light winds, even though we did have a little bit of a waiting around, as you say, the tide washed everything in and out, it's done what it was supposed to do. Everything so far has been pretty much predictable.
Yeah, it's on script for the moment, that basically they came in, the wind shut off, the tide turned against them, and that compressed the fleet. That gave opportunities to Dongfeng Race Team, Vestas 11th Hour Racing, to close in on these leaders, and so they are now tighter than they were before. Also, we've seen Mafre come back into the fold, and so the fleet is really, really tight. The tightest that we've seen at all leg, and what a leg has been. You know, incredible record-breaking speeds out in the middle of the Atlantic, followed by this incredibly tactical final. Well, I was going to say sprint, but it's not really a sprint unless you're a snail.
Well, the incredible pictures at the moment from the helicopter just taking off and coming over the boats from Cardiff, the lights from the ribs illuminating Team Brunel in the gloom. We've also got the stern camera at the moment, and I think that's Andrew Cape just wandering around at the back, and it looks like almost a full complement of crew up on the deck. Right now, we are into that final push, the last few moments of leg 9. The two Dutch boats have been battling it out for the last few days, and as you say, with record-breaking speed runs as well. It's been incredible that Team AkzoNobel have been sailing so fast, and then Team Brunel alongside them as well. This could be the last tack that they've been going through here to get through to the line. Team Brunel, the boards come down, and they tack the boat through. We are expecting them to come through the line in any moment, but it looks like just 2 short tacks to go, and with quite a lot of tide at the moment. And interesting that the tide, we were worried about it compressing everybody. Actually, it's held these 2 Dutch boats clear of Dongfeng Race Team. It's held them clear of Vestas 11th Hour Racing. They've been able to keep moving while the other boats have been held up.
That's right. It's all about picking your spot to have your slowdown. And actually, if you look back on the tracker on the website at the moment, if you're following along, then you will see that they ground to a halt and did a bunch of short tacks up on the northern coast. That's where there are a bunch of sandbanks up there, and when you've got the tide against you, then you want to be in the shallower water possible, because in the deep water, that's where the tide is flowing fastest. So if it's against it, you need to get up onto the coast and away in shallow water. So that's what they did very successfully, and whereas the other boats that were chasing them down were caught mid-flow, having the worst of the current pushing them back out the other way. So actually, it sort of happened at a good moment for them, that they were already close to the coast when the worst of the current hit them, and they were able to sort of take shelter in amongst the sandbanks.
And they would have been planning this for days, for weeks, for months. I mean, as soon as Cardiff was announced as a stopover, the one thing you do is you start getting out your tide atlas and you start learning that stretch of water, because we know that leg 9 was going to be very tricky towards the finish. We knew that this was going to be challenging. Bauer-Becking and Team Brunel have played this beautifully. So have Team AkzoNobel, but sadly for Simeon Team Point, just shy of what Bauer-Becking has been able to do. We've got the helicopter up and hovering over the top of Team Brunel. We've got some spectators out there on the water, welcoming the Dutch boat to be the first team to cross the line here at the close of leg 9. And this is crucial for Bauer-Becking in terms of points as well. This means in a few moments they're going to cross the finish line. The bonus for the win, double point leg. They are well within chance of winning the Volvo Ocean Race.
That's right, not just the leg, but the entire Volvo Ocean Race in the overall. So this is incredible, and you know, what a charge back onto the podium, and then now to threaten for the overall. That, remember, they take this lead now. Were it not for Mapfre's incredible come-from-behind victory in the previous leg, this would have been 3 on the trot for them. And so no other team in this race has been on the top 2 steps so reliably. Even Mapfre early on, or reliably, and so it's just absolutely incredible. This is the return to the form that we expected from Bauerbecken when he joined up in this leg. And now that they've crossed the line and they can drop the sails, they've got that win in the bag. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how the rest of the fleet come across the line and the way that the points finally shake out.
There, you could have forgiven the naysayers for believing that Bauerbecken, when he was talking about we could still win it from here. No, that's just the skipper trying to raise the morale of the crew. But right now, with 2 short legs remaining in this edition of the Volvo Ocean Race, Team Brunel have every reason to celebrate, every reason to smile. By our calculation, it looks like they are going to be just 3 points away from the top spot in the overall scoreboard. 2 short legs, plenty of points on offer. Bauerbecken has raised his game, and Team Brunel can hold their hopes high. There is every chance that we could see the yellow boat lifting the trophy in The Hague for winners of the overall Volvo Ocean Race. It's going to be close. Dongfeng Race Team Mapfre, they are going to hang on by their fingernails. But what an unbelievable last few legs for Team Brunel. And a great scorecard. Nearly, shall we say, a perfect scorecard. They only narrowly missed out on winning the last leg by, 61 seconds?
Exactly. And I'm sure that Bauerbecken will be ruined that moment and those extra bonus points that they lost going into Cardiff as well, into Newport, because had they had those extra 2 points, then that would have put them almost in first place right now.
Well, celebrations for Team Brunel, the sails down, the boat making its preparations to come ashore. We're going to hear from the sailors shortly, but out on the water we do have Team AkzoNobel in second place, very, very close behind, the second of our Dutch boat, and of course, as you were saying, now the new record holder for the 24-hour Volvo Ocean Race record. They're going to be coming across the line, and they're going to be the first person to congratulate Team Brunel, and there you can see Team AkzoNobel coming in now underneath the line. It was incredibly close between these two. Simeon Team Point would have been heartbreaking to see those last few miles and unable to reel Team Brunel back in.
Well, yesterday, a little bit less than 12 hours ago, I did a live interview with the 2 skippers, and they had the opportunity to talk directly to each other via the magic of Inmarsat Simeon Team Point was still feeling pretty bullish, although he could have had the opportunity to talk directly to Bauerbecken, because during the course of the night they did close up. They got to less than 0.1 of a mile separating the 2 boats in terms of distance to finish. This was almost their leg as well, and you've really got to feel for them. That this was a team that struggled early on and has lately sort of returned to form, but this leg was almost theirs as well.
Almost theirs, the points almost theirs. They were almost closing up to that podium, but now Team AkzoNobel are coming across the line. Second place. It wasn't the result that only a few hours ago was on the cards. However, still a very strong finish for Simeon Team Point and the crew of Team AkzoNobel. They too are looking very strong at the moment on the water. It's unbelievably close at the moment on the overall rankings. Such depth of skill throughout the entire fleet. A second place finish for Team AkzoNobel as they cross the line here to draw leg 9 to a close for them. And of course, the realization that they have now set the bar for the 24-hour record in the Volvo Ocean Race. And an incredibly high bar at that. Over 600 miles sailed in 24 hours.
602 miles for 24 hours. And also I'd just like to point out that they've gone 3,410 miles is the overall distance sailed by Team Brunel. A little bit more for this boat here, Team AkzoNobel. But it's just absolutely incredible. What was that? That was less than 2 minutes almost between the 2 boats at the top, crossing the finish line here in Cardiff after sailing for 8 days. It is absolutely remarkable. And this is a testament not only to the fact that we are in the one design era of the Volvo Ocean Race, but the fact that these boats now on their second lap They hold no secrets for the sailors. They know how to crank out the top speeds, and that's why it's so indicative, the fact that now the bar has been raised. It's 602 miles. This time, 3 years ago, it was 550, and so clearly they have all unlocked more speed from their boats. They know how to absolutely redline them, and this is incredible. It's so exciting in sailing.
Absolutely unbelievably seen. It's another incredibly close finish. I mean, one design now for this era of the Volvo Ocean Race, it has brought about close finishes. But I mean, we've been surprised this edition of the race just how close it is. I'm sure the sailors on board Team AkzoNobel and Team Brunel were so surprised they couldn't shake each other off. As you said, it come down to 0.1 of a nautical mile at times.
Well, just cast your mind back, Niall, to when we were preparing this at the start of the race, that we were doing lots of analysis and looking for comparisons between other sports. We were saying, sort of spitballing, saying, well, what if we turned a 3,000 mile leg into a 100 meter sprint, and we looked at the differences? What would a photo finish feel like? Well, after 8 days at sea and almost 2 minutes on the line, that is incomparable. There is no other sport out there where a photo finish, in terms of percentage, can be this tight. This is tighter than a few centimeters separating first and second in a 100 meter sprint. This is, unprecedented in sport.
And losing a race, or indeed winning a race, by only a minute and a half. I mean, you can find a minute and a half anywhere or along the track of a 3,400 nautical mile race. I mean, absolutely unbelievable that it comes down to that close after such an incredible leg. But Team Brunel are the boat that have taken victory here in Cardiff. A great result for them. Bauer Becking has every right to feel very pleased about the efforts his crew have made over the last 3,000 miles.
It's foggy, can't really see much. Captain's pointing us at targets we can't see. Pretty tight. Dolphins just in front of us. Manfred just behind us. Let's go.
It appears that we must have hit something with one of the rudders, and as a result we broke the tiller arm, which is basically the arm that comes off the rudder stock and allows us to steer with the tube rudders.
Certainly nothing that humans have seen on this earth would kind of cause that sort of damage.
Right now there's a big low kind of forming to the west of us, giving us some nice downwind conditions. Also there's probably a pretty good chance of a 24-hour speed run. Should be interesting. Slight slamming motion every now and then. Makes it kind of hard to walk.
It's too hard. It's absolutely not easy.
Yeah, just trying to move around the boat is pretty hard work.
This is not normal.
But hey, the boat's going fast. So that's what we live with.
Akzo showed, according to our records, just over 600 miles, 601 miles in 24 hours. But that's a pretty nice effort.
A bit disappointing, or how do you feel about it?
No, records are there to be broken, and no, that's all right. It's all about the leg. Who wants to win the leg?
Who needs a world record when you can win the leg? Got to get through the ridge, and then we'll be winning.
We just got through our park up, so we're pretty happy. We still lost speed to Asco, but nothing we can't fight for back. And
what we have here is Akzo.
We have a match race on our hands.
Every now and then they appear back out of the fog.
Expecting a header, which we think we're in better position for.
Currently 0.9 of a mile away.
And then we'll be tacking over and heading up the Bristol Channel. So yeah, it's all to go for.
A great race for Team Brunel and indeed Team AkzoNobel all the way to the finish line here in Cardiff. And in just a few moments, we're going to be able to speak to the skippers themselves about an unbelievable leg, the last double points leg in this edition of the Volvo Ocean Race. And the leg, well, scores-wise for Team Brunel has been absolutely crucial. They knew that this was their last chance to close down to the leaders on the overall leaderboard, keep their hopes alive of hopefully being able to be the boat to lift the trophy in The Hague. And they have done just that. This 3 points for being the first boat, plus the bonus, that is going to be incredibly crucial. Team AkzoNobel, they've missed out on those 3 points. They desperately wanted them. That really ignited their chance to be a podium finishing boat in this edition. However, for Team AkzoNobel, wasn't to be, but double Dutch finish, 2 Dutch boats, Simeon Team Point and Bauerbecking, the 2 skippers across the line. And you can see one from the other, from the onboard cameras. And in just a moment, we'll be able to hear from the sailors themselves. And
Simeon is just coming.
It's been incredible scenes out here at the moment. And with 2 boats finishing so close together, I'm sure there's going to be some handshakes and some congratulations all the way around, not least from the sailors on board Team AkzoNobel. They have been pushing all the way across leg 9, right the way down to that last half mile. And as well, Team AkzoNobel are going to be hitting the dock here with the record. A great leg for this Dutch boat.
People think that's short, but if you're not going to sweep for much of it and you're going to push as hard as you want to push it, it's going to feel like a long leg, I'm sure.
We had a right start, but really had to fight to stay at the top of the fleet. I felt the heart beating in my throat there, and everyone else on board as well. Now out of the bay, into the fog. When the boats are most powerful, around good 22 knots, 25 knots, good seaway. You can see it, it's like a washing machine. Just when I was in the middle of my old forge, I got an email that we broken the Volvo 65 record, so yeah, good news.
Well, we're not going to stop there, we're going to keep on pushing. There it's around 560. We're going for 600.
For how long it holds, who knows, but nice feeling to be in the hunt.
Quite radical from some pretty good conditions to basically nothing now, and but you know, we knew that it was coming already.
24 hours ago, I was wearing a crash helmet.
Pretty sure no matter what happens, Bauer's not going to do 600 miles in 24 hours.
Trying to get the best sail set up. Just in the last few hours losing a little bit, so.
Yeah, we're in a good position, we just need to consolidate it a bit.
Just depends who gets out of that light area first.
We're neck and neck with Brunel, they're just over there. About 2 miles away.
A great leg for Team AkzoNobel. Sadly, the bonus point for the win wasn't to be theirs. They crossed the line just a few moments behind their fellow countrymen on board Team Brunel. 2 Dutch boats, first and second. We're going to be able to hear from the skippers in just a moment as they make their way into the race village at Cardiff. And a little bit of a lock to negotiate, a little bit of an outside pontoon, inside pontoon. But as always, a warm welcome, friends, family, and a well-deserved rest. The last of the long legs. And as a sailor, having been this far around the world, you know you're going to be thinking about the fact that, well, you know what? The worst of it is behind us. Now it's just those sprints. And let's take a look at the scores as we go into those last 2 legs. This is just the projected result, provisional numbers at the moment. But as we were saying, Team Brunel, 3rd place. We know that they're going to be on 57 points. They should be just 3 points behind Dongfeng Race Team, who, all things being considered, will be our new overall race leader. Team AkzoNobel in 4th. Well, a good few points behind them now. The podium for Simeon Team Point, it's moving out of reach.
It is, and it's astonishing that that just that swap between these two boats would have made such a difference on points. Knocking 3 off Team Brunel, adding 3 to the other one, and pretty quickly you get to sort of almost parity between the two. But seems like that's not the storyline that we're going with at the moment. It is Team Brunel on the charge, and one of the tightest podiums towards the end of the Volvo Ocean Race that I have ever seen, and certainly that we've ever had in recent history.
So we've got 3 teams, Dongfeng Race Team, Mafre and Team Brunel, all very much real contenders. And you know, if you wanted to bet on one of those boats, you'd be putting it on this team right here. I mean, current form, the last few legs, it's got to be Bauer Becking.
Well, that's what we said yesterday. We came together with this great graphic tracking the trend of each of the podium boats at the moment, and we had Mafre that started strong, second place, first place. That sort of set the tone for the fleet. It was all about the red boats early on, and then just to remind you that we've had this sort of slow burn team that has been very successful between second, third, and fourth. All the way through. That's Team Dongfeng Race Team. And then we've got these guys. They really turned things around with a win on leg 6 all the way through the South Pacific. And maybe that was a case of this team that was shuffling crew early on, one of the latest ones to enter the race, to put a team together. They got their team sorted finally. They got their team psychologist in to help glue the team together. And now that they've got the mix right, well, it's just incredible. Nobody can stop them.
Absolutely incredible. And as you say, just those last few miles and those last little turn of the points going the way of Team Brunel, it has absolutely ignited the top of the overall leaderboard. Incredibly close, and we can now hear from the skipper, Bauer Becking, on board Team Brunel. Bauer, if you can look into the camera, we've got you from the rib. Bauer, first of all, congratulations, the last of the double points leg, and you get full points.
Yes, good day. I'm not sure if you can hear you, but of course this is a nice win for the team and for all our sponsors and of course for our fans. So I think we deserved it after what happened to us in Newport.
And you've been saying all along that you believe in the potential of this team. By our mathematics, it looks like you're only 3 points away from being the overall Volvo Ocean Race leader. I mean, last 2 legs, everything's to play for.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying, but of course really happy with the result. Beating the 2 red boats, that was the main objective. Winning, of course, is nice, the double pointer and the bonus point. And then, I think just ecstatic, of course. We had a nice fight to beat Akzo in the end as well. So a very happy team.
Oh, Bowie, apologies for the poor connection, but a phenomenal effort from your team. We're just wondering, what's your confidence like? Where can you go from here?
Well, I think, like what we said already in Newport, the aim is looking forward. We closed the gap now considerably to Dongfeng and Mafre. And of course, victory is still our main objective.
Well, Bowie, congratulations once again from Race Control here in Alicante. Well done, get a well-deserved rest.
Thank you very much. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
Well done. Good work.
Well, Bauer Becking on board Team Brunel. First boat across the finish line, and Conrad, he doesn't seem flustered about it. He seems like, well, I told you I was going to be able to do it. I've done it. You just wait for the Hague.
If only it were that simple. This was a team that was trying to do that early on in the race, and they weren't able to put it together. But as I said, you know, they've got their game sorted, they've got their team sorted, and actually one thing that I'd just like to flag up here, and that is that we've got these 2 gold medalists and America's Cup winners in the form of Peter Burling and Blair too. Now, because Mafre was on a tear early on, and the yellow boat Team Brunel was sort of languishing early on, we always thought that it was going to be Blair Took that could potentially raise the trophy and say, well, actually, I'm the big champion here across all the disciplines. But actually, it may come back to the guy that some people have baptized the golden boy, because everything that he touches turns to gold, Peter Burling. And it's been interesting to watch the dynamic growing between Bauerbecken, the sort of old warhorse, and Peter Burling, who has had so many fresh ideas about how to make offshore boats go, because that's sort of, he's been relatively new at that. And so there's been an interesting dynamic that's sort of come together. But I'd just like to flag up the fact that Peter Burling may end up with another feather in his cap here.
And it's certainly interesting to see, as you say, Peter Burling starting to smile in some of those boat feed videos. I mean, Team Brunel, now the first boat in leg 9, taking the win, crossing the Inmarsat finish line to pick up the bonus point for the win. Team AkzoNobel in second place. This has really ignited the top of the overall leaderboard. Everything is to play for. We've still got some boats out on the water, but there's maximum points going for Team Brunel right now. Bauerbecken can feel very happy about what has taken place on the water. And great scenes here in Cardiff, bringing to a close an unbelievable leg.
Exciting, leaving Newport here. Yeah, can't wait to get back home. It's going to be a tough leg, a short leg, but it's going to be super intense. So, yeah, exciting.
What a scene! What a perfect start from all 7 boats.
Been out here maybe an hour or so. It's going to be a long 24 hours till we get past the PSSs here.
We can still only see about 2 boat lengths, so yeah, it's pretty foggy.
But then we actually sailed pretty well through the night. Got onto one of the reaching sails and let the boat go a bit, and Dong thing went quite well in those conditions and pulled away from us a bit, and we managed to pull away from the other guys.
Transatlantic's a big one for us. We've had such a roller coaster of a Volvo ocean race so far. It's been pretty enjoyable at times and well, bloody difficult at times, to be honest.
So it's a massive split 24 hours into this league.
Taking the southerly route. The good news is that 3 other boats are with us, and the 2 red boats took the northerly route, so ideal scenario for us.
It appears that we must have hit something with one of the rudders, and as a result we broke the tiller arm, which is basically the arm that comes off the rudder stock and allows us to steer with the 2 rudders.
We are expecting a jibe for the last 2 days, but the wind hasn't shifted yet, so that's good. I guess more wind, so we're going faster than we expected.
Our speed was good overnight. We made some good decisions. Now that we're in front, we just gotta make sure we stay in front.
Fast and furious, speeds in the mid-20s. Kind of flat sea state, relatively speaking, so it's good speeds, not huge nosedives. It's certainly very wet and good fun.
Very, very wet.
It's pretty cool to be the fastest one in the race. It's still it'll be hard to win the race overall, but at least I won't be the slowest, hopefully.
We're at lunchtime, it's like gonna hit a brick wall. We're gonna go from 30 knots to nothing. What we want to do is try and be clever so that we can catch up some of the mileage that we've lost to the others.
not in great shape, but I think it's all to play for still. I think a podium's still very achievable, but just got to keep working hard, and again, probably need a little bit of luck in this ridge.
Yeah, I think we've all been waiting for this breeze to come. Cardiff, here we come.
What are you thinking right now? Huh? What are you thinking?
Let's go outside.
It's beautiful. It's nice and warm. Slight slamming motion every now and then. Hey, the boat's going fast, so that's what we live with.
There's still a lot to go, and hopefully we can fix this leg a little bit, but for sure nothing is going to be decided in Cardiff. It's going to be a big fight all the way to the egg, and that's what we have to do. Keep alive and keep pushing on the way to the finish.
We've seen tricky finishes in the past. We've just had one in Newport, and Newport didn't go our way. Hopefully in Cardiff it will, so we never give up.
What we have here is Akzo. Every now and then they appear back out of the fog, currently 0.9 of a mile away.
Wind is going to be up and down. It's going to probably be not a lot of sleep, so there's going to be a lot more of that to come, and a tactical battle ahead for Jules especially.
I feel like someone's watching me.
Incredible scenes out on the water, and then a tricky finish here for the Inmarsat finish line in Cardiff. It was Team Brunel who took the win with the bonus point. Team AkzoNobel in second place. Dongfeng Racing, Vestas 11th Hour Racing, and the rest of the fleet still to come. But now it is the turn to hear from skipper Simeon Team Point on board Team AkzoNobel, the boat that now holds an unbelievably high 24-hour record achieved in the Volvo Ocean Race. And here is the man, Simeon Team Point, the skipper of Team AkzoNobel. Congratulations, a very close finish indeed, all the way to that final half mile.
Yeah, thank you very much, very much. It's been a pretty insane leg, so I'm pretty happy to arrive all safe and in one and the boat in one all good here in Cardiff.
And a 1-2 for two Dutch teams across the finish line. Now a Dutch boat holding the 24-hour record. You must be feeling incredibly proud.
No, of course. I mean, it's a little bit sour, of course, for at the moment, because we gave it the best we could to become also first here at the finish. But on the other hand, you know, we're unbelievably proud, and I'm especially proud of the crew. I mean, the guys kept it always safe and unbelievably motivated to always put the hammer down and keep pushing. And we pushed here to the finish line, but you know, it's sailing, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I think we are all unbelievably happy with the second place, and for sure proud of each other. And we had a good leg. We enjoyed, and that was important. We enjoyed sailing the boat. We enjoyed breaking a record and setting a record that hopefully is going to be hard to beat again. And so it's been a leg full of emotions, and really looking forward now to the other two next legs, and try to beat Brunel. That's for sure now high on the agenda.
So officially the fastest boat that we've ever had in the Volvo Ocean Race. 2 short European legs still to go in waters that you know pretty well. What can you hope to achieve from here?
I mean, it's do or die a little bit for us, you know, and we knew that in Newport that we had to score podium positions, and I mean, we've done unbelievable well from Melbourne. I mean, we haven't had the easiest start as a team in Alicante, and then in Cape Town to Melbourne we broke our mass track, but from Melbourne on, I mean, we scored the same amount of points and now more points than my friend Dongfeng, and so did Brunel. So I mean, the confidence is there, and it's good, you know, European waters. It's going to be a hard fight, and it's going to be short sprints, but it's something we feel comfortable with. And as a crew, I mean, we had an incredible race with each other, and we're enjoying it so much. And last 2 legs coming up, I mean, everyone wants to give it all, and everyone wants to be on the podium in The Hague. So we're just going to keep fighting and do what we're doing like we did last leg. And yeah, and I think, you know, a 24-hour record proves it, how well as a crew, you know, you are worked in with each other, and how big the trust is, you know, because everyone needs to be focused. It's not that 24-hour, but it's that 60 hours that you're pushing hard. And everyone was always rested and could sleep and had the focus. And I mean, I'm unbelievable proud of the guys and the girls on board. I mean, everyone did such an amazing job, and yeah, it's a leg to remember.
Well, Simeon, congratulations on a very strong second place finish. We've got so many Dutch fans watching this moment at the moment, something that will go down in history of the Volvo Ocean Race. I wonder whether you've got a special message for them in Dutch.
Ja, in het Nederlands. Veilig aangekomen in Cardiff. En helaas net niet als eerste. Nog net de laatste 15 mijl kwamen nog net 2 keer voor Brunel. En ja, het was een spel op stroom en een beetje geluk met wind. Maar het was gewoon puur zeilen. En ze kwamen er dit keer als beste uit. Maar uiteindelijk enorm trots. Ja, we hebben vanaf Melbourne aan geweldige prestatie met het team gezet. En afgelopen leg ook enorm met elkaar genoten. En de druk is hoog, het is do or die. En we geven alles op alles. En er nog 2 legs te gaan. En we vechten voor die podiumpositie voor het eindresultaat in Den Haag. En ja, nu lekker genieten. Het was een lek om niet te vergeten. Gelukkig is iedereen veilig. En Noord-Atlantic komt zeker niet zonder gevaren. En iedereen is veilig. De boot is in ontzettend goede conditie. Dus ja, enorm trots op het zeilteam, maar ook op de jongens aan boord. Op de kant die de boot onderhouden. Ja, we konden maximaal geven en dat geeft weer een hele hoop energie voor de komende 2 etappes.
Thank you, Simeon. Thank you very much for reflecting on this unbelievable moment for you and your crew. Well done. Congratulations for concluding leg 9, a very strong second. We'll see you on the shore. Well, Conrad, I mean, he certainly knows what this moment means for his team. Yes, it's still possible. Yes, there are 2 legs out there to go in Europe, in his backwaters. But they're missing out on those 3 points. That is difficult. Behind them, we've got Dongfeng Race Team. I mean, there are a lot of boats that are sort of a little bit, will be disappointed right now. They'll be seeing their achievements over the last few legs, the points that they've built up, their confidence started to feel a little bit shaky now.
Yeah, that's possible. It was interesting to hear him talk about the fact that the 2 Dutch boats that have just finished this race have actually scored more points towards the back end of the race than at the front. And so, indeed, then the overall favourites, Dongfeng Race Team and Mafre. Now, I would say that potentially, and it's going to be interesting to have a chat with them when they come in, but the unshakable optimism on board Mafre may have taken a hit in this one. But there's one team here, 3rd place out on the water, and the next boat across the line, Dongfeng Race Team. I think they're going to be actually pretty happy with this, that they didn't lose contact really with the leaders, that they put in really strong results all the way through in the light conditions, in the heavy conditions. They didn't break the overall record, but they hung tight. And I think that that's actually representative of the fact that this is one of the teams that's fighting for the overall. And so it's possible that they didn't have their foot as hard down as Team AkzoNobel, because they've got nothing to prove. They were set to take over the overall lead. They will do so. And now I think that, you know, who knows, maybe the energy or the pendulum is going to be swinging back from Mafre back to Dongfeng, where we'll just have to see in the last sprints.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the last few legs, but we still need to get these boats across the finish line. Dongfeng Race Team at the moment, 12 nautical miles away and doing over 12 knots over the ground right now. So they're about an hour away. We're going to take a break here from Race Control in Alicante, but we will be back as the Chinese boat in approximately an hour will be the next one to cross the Immersat finish line in Cardiff, and we'll see you then.
Come on,